time
This is Dan's first time with two men, and I think it went well, Dan.
Well, happy Pride. That's where we're leaving that
you
one.
be you, Dan. Just don't talk in the movies because of your autism. Oh, yeah, that other thing.
Here we are. We're back. We're here. We're jaywalking. I don't know where we're going, but we're going to go somewhere today. Joey Callahan in the house.
Yeah.
Comedian
Well,
extraordinaire.
is this really a house? This is more of like a closet.
This is a closet. And given my family background, I'm very comfortable with closets.
I've been in the closet for years, so it's okay.
I'm excited because it's summertime. So for me, I'm like even more looser than I normally am because normally I'm rolling in here before I have to go to school, and so it's nice to be like, oh, I have a. You fill your day. You always. I'm sure your wife's been a teacher for.
My wife's been a teacher forever, and what this is period. I'm glad she's off. Like, there's nothing greater than that last day of school. Like, it's the energy. It's like Christmas Eve,
yes.
4th of July, and Hanukkah, whatever you have, Ramadan, whatever you want, whatever gets you excited. That's what
Toyota.
It is.
For me, it's Toyota-thon.
Yeah, fair enough. Toyota-thon, whatever. It ramped up, right? But then the reality for me and the dog is that she's home during the day when I'm home and the dog's looking at me like, is she going to be here? When's she going back to school? Because we usually watch.
This is bro time.
Yeah, we have lunch and we just kind of hang out at this. I know. Just get you. Yeah, but we have to look busy. Just look busy. Because she tells us all the things we don't do around the house, and we have to act busy now.
Is that what she comes in? Does the tone changes in the house?
Yeah,
right? It's different.
The shifts like yeah. Because usually me and the dog are like, you be careful. I love you, and like. So ruins everything. So,
but she's been doing it. Is she anywhere near retirement, or is she just loving it? She's going to keep going, or
no. Well, Monday she turns 60.
Oh,
so which for me is a little bizarre for me because she's a year and a couple months older than me.
Okay,
and I met her when I was 19. So I was 19, she was 20. Next thing you know, I'm 19, she's 21. I'm like, wait a minute, you can buy beer and I can touch your boobs.
Great?
Sold. But now it's like, and I try to be very optimistic. Glass is half full. She's 57. I'm in heaven. I told her 58. You look great. 59. You're fine. 60. I'm like, Christ, you're old.
Yeah, it's like there's a threshold. Yeah, she's gonna have to change her parameters on Tinder. I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. Her only flaw is her taste in men. But
that's right.
Yeah. So
that's great. No, and I'm sure she loves it. Does she have a routine she does in the summer, or does she just kind of go with the flow?
She sits on the couch watching the third hour of the Today Show, going, I should work out.
Yes.
I get a lot of that.
That is every teacher.
What do you want for dinner? I go, oh, you're cooking. That's fantastic. I don't care. Whatever you make.
Yeah, I was trying. Actually, last night I sat down because I was saying to myself, like, dude, you're a week in. What have you done? Like, you had all these dreams and hopes. And I sat down last night and I just made a list of, like, all the things that I want to do in a day that like I want to ration time for, and then the list was like way more than it should have been. So you, as a teacher,
have like mini pandemics, and what I mean by that is during the pandemic, I'm going to write the great American novel. I'm going to cure this. Now you said
I guess a mini panic attacks is more of what it was. But that's I wanted to. I said to myself, can I be different after 20 summers of not doing what I'm saying I'm going to do? Can I like ration myself better? Because there's so much to do, and you and I have talked about this off where we talk about like the social media aspect of like promoting ourselves and how that's like that in itself can seem like a full-time job.
Absolutely.
And like how do you like ration like those moments, like working out, being a family, like all of those things.
Too. Like my wife and I are now experiencing being empty nesters, and it's like I really dig hanging out with my wife, and she digs hanging out with me. At least she acts like she does, and that's fine. I'll take that. But I said to her, I go, hey, last time we were this alone together, we ended up with kids. So let's be patient. Let's pace ourselves a little here. Just got rid of two of them.
Did you have a good Father's Day?
It was actually. Well,
did they come back for Father's Day?
My younger one did from Manhattan, and my older one is in Kansas. So my older one in Kansas calls us up and goes, she works for the Hallmark Corporation.
Oh.
In Kansas City, Missouri, right? She calls us up and she goes, Dad, I got you and Mommy. You ready for this? The Hallmark Premium Channel for free. And I was like, Emma, do you hate me? Do you just hate me? Why would you think that your father would want that? And I thought, okay, I'll give it Hallmark After Dark. Maybe they'll have something. I'm like, nothing. Not a
Can you
single
imagine what
boob.
that would be? Yeah, what would be?
Nothing.
Yeah, that'd be like sent to the Cinemax at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Or like the Channel 13 that was really wavy.
Yeah. Was that a boob? No, it was an elbow, but I'll take it. That's enough.
Right. That's
Yeah.
right. Oh my God, that's so funny. Speaking of bad Father's Day gifts, I live in a house of women. I've always lived with women. Our dog that we just got is female.
You and I have that. Yeah.
I just want one masculine day. I mean, I was born on International Women's Day. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like that's why I said I was like, I'm either like
They
God's
have a day
gift
for
to
you.
women.
It's called the Tonys.
Yeah, that's right. Dude. And so then my oldest is 11, my youngest is 9, and my oldest decided that she was going to get her first period on Father's
Mazel
Day.
tov.
Man, can I tell you,
Wonderful to be a woman time.
she mentioned it earlier in the day, and I did not believe. I thought she was just like scripting, because like sometimes she'll just watch a video and like relate, and she's just kind of like, she said to me like we were at a brunch, and she's like, "Am I on my period? Am I bleeding out of my butt?" And I'm just like, I couldn't even compute. I was just like, "No, honey, you didn't have Taco Bell last night. Like you're fine." Like, and I didn't say, and then I was like, she didn't look like she was bleeding. I'm like. And then all of a sudden, later that night, I was calling her for bath time, and then I saw it, and I was like, "Oh."
Wait, how does one? First of all, when I had to go from Jersey to Kid here. I live in Philly, and I'm driving. I see farms and like in the middle of Jabip. And how does one who lives out here call their child like? Jesse, it's bath time. How do you do that? You ring the triangle.
I do.
Come on, let's go where you need the bath.
Well, the worst part about that was I called her for bath time, and she didn't respond because she eloped out of the house.
Bleeding out of her butt.
She left the house.
She just walked out.
She just walked out, and
like the old days in the 70s where a guy would go out to get a pack of cigarettes and never
that's
come
it.
back. Okay,
so
yeah.
and we didn't know where she was. We couldn't find her.
Follow the trail of blood.
That's what I was thought, and there was nothing there. So there was still no thinking in my mind that was true.
On the next date line.
She left, and then Amanda. We got that moment where we're like, she's probably just in the yard. Sometimes she'll wander around the yard, not there. And then we're like, oh no. So then I saw Amanda kind of panic, and she ran up the street. I got in the car. I start driving around, and I'm like stopping people who are walking their dog.
Excuse me, have you seen an 11-year-old girl bleeding from the ho-ho?
And like these people are looking at me. I'm like, well, she's autistic. She, sometimes this happens. She got and she was trying to go to my mom's house, which is across a busy road, not far from us. So she actually crossed the busy road, and then a counselor from her school, because we live right by the school, that's a friend of ours, saw her, got her, and brought her home.
That's a testament to how much she loves your mother, that she felt.
Well, so I think she was like, these guys don't believe me. I'm gonna go to the only woman who will believe me. So like when I traced it back, I was like, oh my goodness, I think like that my denial of it must in some way made her felt like she wasn't being heard.
Yeah.
And then she just was like, all right, then I'm out, and I'm gonna go to the one person. But my mom wasn't even there. My mom's in a rehab because she just got shoulder surgery.
Was it the meth?
The meth, yes. It was the meth. I always say when I say she's in rehab, I'm like, oh my God, she's like a meth head. Well, we were there.
Oh, my mother and the crack. You can't get them away from each other.
We were there visiting, and there's all different people there. And the one guy had like his legs like amputated. And so Alicia was like, this guy's legs disappeared. Where are his legs, Daddy? And I'm like, I think they're hanging out with your social awareness, sweetheart. But she just had no filter for that. And so luckily we got her back. And then,
hey, Dad, guess who's not starting a river dance?
And then we get her in the bath. I get her in the bath to get ready for the bath. And that's when I notice. And I'm like, is this what I think it is? She's like, it's either that or you better call the cops. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I was not ready for it. And it was fine. Like it wasn't. But I did have a moment where I was kind of like in denial. My wife's kind of like, hey, we're going to read a book later. Do you want to come like maybe read it with us? Because she's going to be away. She's like, you're lucky this didn't happen while I'm away.
Well, there was a great comedian who I miss terribly, my dear friend Jeff Parami, and he lived with all women. Like you live with all women,
yes.
I live with all women. And he's talking about his daughters with going through, that part of their life. And I go, what's it like? Because I had little ones. He goes, I'm telling you right now, Callahan, I got more blood in my house than the movie Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, it's just, and then my younger one, she wasn't asking, people were like, oh, is she asking questions? I'm like, she's pretty intuitive. She's pretty astute. So she's always listening. So I'm sure she's taking it all in, but she's like, she's very astute. So I'm sure she's paying attention.
Well, and I'll say this to all the guys out there, like Philly people, big city people. If I say to a city guy, listen, you're going to get punched. Do you want to see it coming, or you want one in the back of the head? And everybody from Philly will go, oh no, I want to see it coming, right? Okay, so flashback. My youngest, who's now 25, she's like 8 years old. On a Saturday, I take her to the pediatrician. A male doctor. There should have been a bond there, right?
Yeah.
So he's looking in her ear, and he looks up at me. He goes, she get her period yet? I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You call her mother for that. I handle everything from the hip up. Whoa. Like another guy, you don't
Different
punch another.
union.
That's it. Yeah, that was a punch in the back of the head, Chief.
I was not right. We knew because she declared she was a woman when she had armpit hair a few months ago, and then the pediatrician,
An Italian woman.
The pediatrician told me she's like, now the
sorry,
clock.
Italian women. I'm sorry, I'm married
to one. The clock started. Yeah, right. The clock started, so she's like, you got about a year until then.
Yeah,
I was just great. My only concern was I didn't want to have it happen in school. And have something embarrassing happen where
Carrie?
Yeah, exactly. Because in my mind it was the Carrie shower scene. I'm like, God, I mean, this girl already has enough going against her. She doesn't need classmates remembering something like her wandering around am I bleeding? Because then she can't stop talking. She gets obsessive about whatever's happening. So now she's just gonna be the middle of reading. I don't think you have to be
autistic for that. You could be a comedian.
That's true.
You latch on to something
and she won't stop talking about it. And so I was like, oh no. At least it happened in the summer. So I was like, it was the first week of school's out, great. She'll have a couple under her belt before she goes back.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like my wife being home, I don't realize I'm doing it, but I'm in the kitchen making breakfast. So me and my dog Sophie. So of course I'll do the Sophie song, like "Who's my best buddy? My dog Sophie." And I'm from the living room right here. Shut up! I'm like, well, apparently everyone's a critic.
Yeah, go back to school. Go decorate your classroom.
Summer
for next
school.
Year. That's right. Did she ever do that?
No.
Yeah, my wife sometimes subs because my oldest will go. They call it extended school year, for them because it's
also called blowing.
Yeah,
extended summer school, like extended school year. It blows. It's
blows.
Another way of calling it.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is even some of it, the kid one that your wife probably would do is more remedial. It's not as remedial. It's more just keep structure because some of these kids, we're not farming anymore. I mean, the whole concept of 9 weeks off was so you could be home for the harvest or whatever.
Or the fact that some urban areas were too hot and they didn't have air conditioning.
That's true too.
Another point. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that would have been you're right. But I mean, that's true too, because who can sit in a building and try to learn? Although I know there's a lot of teachers out there that'd be like, we didn't have air conditioning, and they kept bringing us in. They don't. I was at a school district doing a PD recently, and they had thermostats in the classroom that you controlled. I'm convinced I didn't do anything. I'm convinced they're placebo. It made you feel cooler
it's
because
a microphone for the principal to listen.
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly right. But I was some of those rooms. Now this was a nicer school, but I mean some of those schools, in Philly especially, I'm sure that the air is
yeah. I mean that's the thing. When they said the school, to me, school happens after Labor Day. So when I was growing up, it was the muscular dystrophy telethon with Jerry Lewis. You saw him on Labor Day. As soon as you saw Jerry Lewis, you had to go to school the next day. Same why I don't like the mummers. The mummers were, when you saw the mummers marching down Broad Street, I'm like, Christ, I got to go back to school now that Christmas break's over, right?
Yep.
But now, my wife's school starts before Labor Day.
Yeah.
What monster is in charge of this school?
It is, really, because now we go back, the kids are the last week of August. Teachers go back the third week, and then new teachers go back the second week, and it's wow, it's over like that. That's why when I saw a week had passed by already, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm already I don't know, whatever. I don't know what the math is on that.
Well, usually
but
after her birthday on the 24th of June, she's like, well, summer's over. He walks around the house oh, I have to go back.
Playing taps.
The lament.
Yeah, it is. It's so funny how fast it happens. And I'm staying, unfortunately, I'm staying pretty busy with comedy stuff, so it's kind of nice, but it's gonna go by very fast. It's just nice to have the mornings and I've been blessed. I've only been teaching part-time the last year, so I wasn't going in till noon, so I'd get the girls on the bus by 8:30, and then I would have about 3 hours to myself.
Downtime. We call that taking a dump. Sure. Yeah, whatever you want to call downtime, whatever you want to.
But that time just fills with stuff. Now the girls are home that whole time. So we taking the dog to the dog park or swimming at my in-laws or that kind of stuff.
My wife, my wife is off, but on the 30th of June, I have to get a knee replacement. So,
no.
So I'll be upstairs going, I'm done pooping. Come
they-
wipe my butt.
How long is the recovery for that?
I don't know.
I thought
All
they
I
were
know
pretty
is
good
the
now.
geek. I said this in another interview I was doing. I'm an old school, when it wasn't cool, comic book nerd. Now it's mainstream. So I will tell you right now, I'm very excited about Superman coming out. I don't care because I saw Christopher Reeve Superman. On Chestnut Street in the '70s, right? So I'm a Superman. I was like the first. Wow, that's a superhero movie, right? So if I have to crawl to go see Superman, I don't care because they dropped off a walker last night. I'm like, what? Well,
with the tennis balls
you
on
need
the
a walker. I go, well, point me to. I'll be at the casino. Like,
get one with the chair so you can take a break.
Oh,
and
that'd be
seat.
fantastic. I'd like to see one with a toilet. That would.
And they got like the brakes, like it's a
horn.
'90s huffy bike. Yeah.
So she'll be taking care of me. And then I stupidly said to my older daughter, the first week in August, we'd fly to Kansas to go visit her.
What part of Kansas?
She's in Lawrence, Kansas. So not about an hour from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm just going for I miss my daughter, don't get me wrong. She's a bit of a pain in the ass. But so if you're looking for someone to shit on a parade, my daughter Emma will come in and never disappoint. She's got great Yelp reviews for taking a shit in the pool. But I love her to death, but I'm all excited about the Kansas City barbecue. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, you had me at brisket.
Brisket. That's my favorite. Brisket's we went out. I did a show in Pittsburgh, Kansas, like 2 summers ago, and then we were out in Wichita. I was out in Wichita with the board
teachers. Weren't you in Wichita a lineman for the county?
Yes, I was.
You were
I was.
Not
many people know that. So breaking news. But yeah, oh my God. Or even like Nashville. I was in Memphis last summer. Like, oh my God. Like, everywhere gets very territorial.
About who has the better,
who has the best or the better. And I was in like North Carolina one time. And then one person's like, I don't care if you put it in an oven and you love it for 13 hours and smoke it. I don't care where it's from. I'm gonna love it. And I'm like, I put a Hot Pocket in a microwave for 90 seconds.
And I'm excited.
I love that too.
Well, I was at work in the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, and it was a big controversy. Like in Jersey, they call them subs.
Versus.
And I had gotten a hoagie. I got a hoagie. It was literally a proper hoagie. It was from Philadelphia, and I had it with me. I traveled to the club, and the woman goes, "Oh, where'd you get that sub?" I go, "It's not a sub. It's a hoagie." She goes, "It's a sub." I go, "No." I go, "You're from Jersey. You know why you guys call it a sub? Because it's fucking subpart it is. This is a hoagie."
Because then they have Zaps and Grind. There's all sorts of names.
Grinders and Zaps, which are horrible porn names, but they fit with sandwich.
Those are ones that are toasted, I think, right? They always have little
grinder,
nuances.
I thought you put a hoagie in a grinder. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, which is not actually that bad. Like when I'm at Wawa, sometimes I will toast my hoagie.
It makes me think of the Adam Sandler Lunch Lady song, like hoagies and grinders, navy beans. I love it. Adam Sandler, that dude is, when I think about, I was just watching because he's like the poster boy for Netflix. He has like 1 million shows.
I've heard nothing but like really great things about him.
The Hustle. I've been watching Hustle recently.
That's a great movie.
What a great movie.
He's an actor. He's
seriously.
There's a movie where he played a doctor with, his wife and daughters were killed in the Twin Towers, and all he did was paint his kitchen. I can't remember the name of it. Don Cheadle's in it.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I could see that movie anytime it's on. He's very captivating.
He's such a great. It really is. I mean, that's what I've been like. I always get a go-to movie at night that I watch to like, that I know I've seen so many times that'll just kind of put me to sleep. And Hustle's been my new one because I love that. I just love the whole concept of it. I love sports movie. I'm a big sports movie guy. Like Miracle was another one that he wasn't in, but I was watching like crazy.
I'm thinking to myself, Adam Sandler was in Miracle.
No, but I started jumping around because then it recommends other movies that you might like.
Well, then you have the mandatory Irish movie that every Philadelphian, everybody of Irish descent watches is Rudy.
Oh my gosh, you have to watch Rudy. Rudy. Dude, Rudy's a classic. I also like Invincible was another one that I did, which is South Philly.
So funny story about that is North Catholic was a high school in Philadelphia, and every year they had this communion breakfast. Now my dad went to North Catholic, right? So they used to drag me as a kid to these North Catholic communion breakfasts, and they have a dais and speakers, and they would say, well, one year I got asked to MC the North Catholic. I didn't go to North Catholic, but I got asked to go to I went there for summer school.
You were like a...
so I said, all right, I bring my dad, right? Vince Papali is going to be the speaker. So I'm like, and everybody's making a big fuss over me, and I'm like, I'm killing as the MC. I'm having a great time, right? And so we go upstairs to the VIP section, and I introduced my dad to Vince Papale, and we're just talking about Invincible because it had just started to come out. It was going to come out. I go, hey, is it anything like the movie Rudy? Because I know my dad was, obsessed with Notre Dame, and he goes, Rudy's a crappy movie compared to mine. My dad, like, whoa. I'm like,
those are fighting words.
I lost control of the situation fast.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm sure he's nothing but a nice guy. I've heard.
He was lovely.
Yeah, but he's and then
but you don't disparage a university named after the Blessed Mother to an Irish Catholic Teamster. You don't do that.
That's true.
That's fighting time.
That is funny. Yeah, that's yeah. Oh my goodness, and did you went to Catholic school or
my whole life? I'm proud. I had a great time in Catholic school, and you know what? Honestly, I will always say this: anytime I got knocked on my ass, and I got knocked on my ass, I deserved it.
Yeah.
But there was one time where I'll never forget, just critical thinking. Father Clem, right? We're talking about Catholics. I don't get too heady here. Catholics believe in contextualism. So, for instance, they don't believe that Eve came from the rib of Adam.
Okay.
But it's contextual or symbolic that means men and women are equal. So, stupid little Joey Callahan raises his hand and goes, Father, yeah, Mr. Callahan, why aren't we ordaining women? And that was not received with the inquisitiveness in which I sincerely asked. I'm like, so my laying groundwork to my liberalism as well as my Catholicism is work hand in hand.
No, they love when you ask questions that really hit hard.
Yeah.
I went to I went to Catholic, private, and public, but I went majority Catholic, but we switched. I went to 8 different schools. Mm-hmm. And going to different ones, you always had to learn the different.
Because at one school you got your period, and
that's right. And then I was ostracized. Yeah. Oh, dude! First grade, I went to a school where a kid peed his pants, and the nun made him stand in front of the class. Until his mom brought pants, and it just crying.
That's horrible.
I still remember his first and last name.
But you know what? If that kid later on in life tracks that teacher down and kills her, like Dexter, you don't blame him.
I mean, those nuns were vicious. Was
it a nun that did that?
Yeah. It must have been Sister Doreen in first grade, who I talk about a lot in my act sometimes. But some of them, I would switch and went to public school for a little while, then I came back. But when you go to a new school, I would say it's kind of like prison. You have to establish yourself early and get in there. And if you have to, you might have to, lay down the law early. And I always found out that Sister Mary Jane could take a punch. That's what I found out.
Well, there was always that one crazy person that hit a nun. It was mythical. You never he hit a nun.
Or the rule would come back and Gina Davis did in A League of Their Own.
Yeah. Well, I had Immaculate Heart Mary nuns. Were great. They were lovely. I have nothing bad to say about it. And then we moved to this all Polish parish because in Philly at that time, you were Irish parish, Italian parish, Polish. It was very ethnically diverse, but yet separated. It was more of a hot plate than a melting pot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like Joey Callahan from Fishtown. It's Fishtown, old Fishtown, not the hipster.
Not
Fishtown.
hipster,
take it back to your
Fishtown.
head, Fishtown. Yeah. So Sister Romuald, everybody's Polish except for me. Sister Romuald from Poland, who taught the apostles, goes, Kolinkiewicz, Piątkowski, Jakobiec, and she goes, Callahan. And I raised my hand. She goes, how do I pronounce this? I go, it's pronounced Callahan, sister. And she looks and goes, I'm not good with the foreign names.
You ever see that skit? There's a skit by a guy named Key and Peele.
Yeah.
And then he's
Ron.
Ron. Yeah. Denice. Yeah, I mean, some of the names, I don't know if your wife's seen it, but sometimes with the names, it is interesting. I was doing elementary for a couple of years, and I would have 300 kids because I would go to all the 5th and 6th grade classes in a week.
So you taught languages?
So I was doing the buffet of languages. Mm-hmm. Actually, that one I was even doing the 2 that I wasn't necessarily certified in because it was just exploratory. It was just
What were the languages?
So it was German and French are the 2 I'm not certified in, and then Latin and Spanish.
Du sprichst Deutsch?
Sprechen Sie Deutsch? No, 9.
Mein Deutsch ist ja schlecht, aber meine Tante hat in Essen gewohnt. Mein erster deutsche Lernen war meine Tante Anna in der Fishtown Tavern.
Was guckst du meine Schlampe?
I be in Bischen.
Ah.
Yes. So what I said there was my aunt was from Germany, And another reason for my rebellious side is she escaped Germany to avoid Hitler because her brother was killed in the Lufthansa, and her parents were real big Hitler critics. So her mother spent a little time away, on a German vacation because of her criticism. So she and my Uncle Tommy O'Connor ran the tap room that when I was born, they brought me there. She would speak German to me and talk to me about anti-fascist stuff and anti-authoritarianism. So I was this strappy kid from Fishtown, fluent in German, who couldn't stand fascist.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
So when I switched, like my last year, my junior year of high school, I went to 3 high schools. The last one was a prep school.
Was there a reason? Was your mom like a traveling salesperson or a con woman or whatever?
So in the beginning, it was a lot of. I joke in my act that people were asking if I was a military brat, and I said. I would yes and them because I didn't want to explain. So I would just say, yeah. They're like, oh, what branch? I'm like, Army. They're like, what division? Salvation. Because it was like if there was poor, we had to raise the rent. So a lot of in the beginning was established. Like my parents got divorced early. There's a lot of custody battling and me flying around.
No, you take them. No, I'm not taking them. You take them.
And then junior year, the Catholic school I was going at was shutting down. We could tell like it was going to close soon.
Going out of business sale.
And you could tell. So then I kind of like saw it coming, and I didn't want to go there anymore. So I actually like ran away from home because I was refusing to go.
Join the circus.
And then my mom finally realized I was serious because in her mind, Catholic school was the best. Because when she grew up in Scranton, that was a time when the Catholic schools were better than the public schools.
That's how it was.
So she got a scholarship to go to Catholic school.
Absolutely.
So when she had her son, he was going to go to Catholic school because that was the best. And then we found out she signed me up for like an SAT class when I was in 10th grade. And I was like top of my class. I had like 99s because only God got 100. And so I had like the best score you could get. And then
I was not burdened with that academic prowess.
They said then in the SAT class, I had no idea what they were talking about. And the woman pulled me out. She's like, you lack basic math skills. And I'm like, you kidding me? I'm on par to be the valedictorian of my 26-person class. How could that be? And that's when we realized, I wasn't like we weren't being taught. So like the things you should be taught. And so I switched. So then I went to the public school for a while, but that was bad. It was only a holding area until I got into the
like a
prep
holding
school.
cell.
Yeah, exactly. A
stayover,
yes. So that was that's the difference between jail and prison, right? Jail is your like holding area until you're sentenced. So that was my jail for the time being. And then I transferred to this private school. But in the private school, my 2 best friends in the dorms were from Germany. And so I was like, hey, if your parents come.
Amazing, neat room. It was an incredibly neat room.
Right. And it was just Ferrari poster. Like, it was just like Formula One racing cars on the thing. But the one buddy played baseball with me, a really good baseball player. And the other guy was a really good tennis player. And those 2 were like roommates. So the 3 of us were always hanging out. I would bring them home to Scranton on the weekends. And they'd be like, why do you guys drink water? We were at a party having Keystone Light. And they're like, why are you guys drinking water? But like they taught me German but then they would tell me they were teaching me phrases I could use with their parents when they came for graduation.
Never
but
believe
it was all so I only know bad words. Like what I said back to you was "Was guckst du dumme Schlampe," which is like, what are you looking at, you dumb bitch? And then they'd be like, no, that's like, hey, nice to meet you, Mr. and Mrs. Bieber. I'll go try it out on the German girl over here. And I saw the punch coming that time.
Well, we were in high school with a German club, right? So like Dr. Scholey, God rest his soul, would give us like Das Spiegel and the different German but they didn't tell all boys Catholics in the 80s that the German magazine had topless, like if it was an ad, and like
there were a lot of
I remember
Mepsa.
Dr. Scholey going, guys, where's all the German magazines? I can't get any more.
That's all I learned. Mepsa. Mepsa is like tits, I think, in German. What else they teach me? Schwanzlutscher. Cocksucker.
Yeah, I'm gonna. And Schwanz is usually
Schwanz. Well, because they would teach me to say einen kleinen Schwanz, which is I have a little. Then I learned how to say du hast real fast. So you have. But that was it. And I still remember that this happened in like 2000, like 1999. 25 years later, it's still in my head. And I never get to use it. It's just living in my head rent free. And I get every once in a while, I've gotten to see them over the years. Like my buddy Conrad had just sent me a photo on Father's Day. He just became a dad. He's got a beautiful daughter, and they still live.
He's in Germany.
Oh yeah, he lives in I think it was Hamburg. Yeah. So in the north. But like he works for like Caterpillar, like the construction company.
Yeah, they all have jobs like that. In
super
Germany.
good engineering.
And they have like 18 weeks of vacation.
Oh my God, the paternity leave he got was
and they
intense.
get paid for a year.
Intense. And then my buddy Stefan, worked for eBay in Barcelona. So when I used
Not too shabby either.
when I used to take kids I used to work in Madrid in the summers for a exchange program. I would get to take a train when there was a weekend off and go spend the time with him. And he met a woman and married her, and she was from Barcelona. So we spoke Spanish.
Do you say it like you see it on TV like Barcelona?
Barcelona. Well, in Spain they do the lisp. So when there's a C next to an E or an I, so like Barcelona, they would do a TH sound. Barcelona. So you can tell, like, when they say thank you, they say gracias instead of gracias. So and they say that there was this the folklore was that they watched a lot of Daffy Duck growing up. No, it was there was a prince supposedly who had a lisp, and so in order to not make him feel out of place, everybody in the kingdom spoke with a lisp, and then it
That'd be like
on.
having a political leader who doesn't know what he's doing, and everybody that's with him is afraid to tell him he doesn't know what he's doing. Like, it'd be like having Congress,
so
who's in charge of lawmaking, terrified of this guy because they're afraid of him. That is weird.
It's such a fictional story that would never happen here.
Weird, man.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's like, I mean, I don't know. Well, we're a nation of no kings, so you never know.
No.
But but it was just interesting to like learn. His family spoke like 7 different languages. His parents were like international, because you're living like, well, we would travel to states. They would travel into different countries in that
trilingual. If you speak 3 languages, bilingual, 2 language, 1 language, you're American.
Yes, or Steve Rinaldi is a good buddy of mine. Has a joke about growing up in South Philly, and he's married to a Russian woman, so she's bilingual and he's barely lingual.
He's a very funny guy, Steve.
He's very funny.
I worked with him once.
Funny. Very funny. Yeah. So do you have anything coming? I mean, this is going to air pretty soon. Do you have anything coming up? It'll be prior to your Great American Pub show.
Oh yeah. So I'm. This is the first time I'm doing this. There's a Great American Pub.
Yeah, over the wall comedy,
hotel and casino. So
that's right.
Yeah. June 27th, 2025, in case an archaeologist finds this 300 years from now and wants to go to the show.
That's right.
It's already come and gone now. So
yeah, but no, that'll be great. That's a great place. It's actually one of the first places I ever did. That was the first place I ever did a show that somebody put me on where people paid money to come to.
That's awesome. And this is a very special show because this is the last show I'll be doing with both my original kneecaps. So I might wear shorts. You get a seat up close. You don't want to miss that.
Knees.
Yeah.
That's
and
funny.
if you listen, as you hear me walk to the stage, you're crack, 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 crack.
That's great. Yeah, I'm hoping to be there. I have a lot of stuff going on, so you just go to jyodercomedy.com and find all the good stuff. I appreciate you coming on tonight, though.
And, well, don't forget about joeycallahan.com.
Oh, joeycallahan.com.
Or Joey Callahan Comedy on Instagram.
On Instagram?
Or,
TikTok? Are you on TikTok?
No, I don't want the Chinese.
You on MySpace?
My phone.
Are you on MySpace?
I have a Prodigy account through American Online. I'm very excited about it. It's diesel run, so I had to pour diesel into the computer. But yeah.
They allow that on the Oregon Trail?
They do. Nice. Nice. There was a risk game reference I'm not doing.
Yeah, right. That's right.
I can't beat Oregon Trail. Are we done already?
I think we are.
We didn't even thank Dan, our engineer.
Dan. Let's thank Dan.
Nice kid and fantastic voice. It's like a young Barry White.
I know. He didn't want to be
Dan,
on.
say right on. Right on. Oh, man! That's fantastic. You guys are too young to realize this, but when I was in college, I got so lucky with a Barry White CD. There's something about Barry White singing that girls go nuts over.
See, that's Well, you have to if you don't know who Barry White is, go on Spotify. I know my daughters are big into Spotify now. That's like the big app. So like every car ride, I have to either listen to Taylor Swift or my oldest loves anime, and so there's like these theme songs for all the anime cartoons.
See, the only anime I ever liked growing up as a kid was Speed Racer. I've never liked any other anime. I don't know what it was. That's it.
I never watched any anime until my daughter, and now she's obsessed. So like I have to start taking her to the anime conventions now. She loves this program called Winx, where it's like these girls that turn into like superhero. Your classic.
Is that like Powder Puff Girls?
It's sort of, but it's a little bit more intense. There's a little bit more of a storyline, and they each have their own like it's like I don't know. I used to watch Captain Planet. It kind of reminds me of Captain Planet, where they each had like their strength or something that is the whatever.
You know, like when your parents can't afford like regular sneakers.
Yes,
and,
I know
like
that
Bobos,
very well.
right?
I've talked about that
Captain
on here
Planet
before.
was like the Bobos of superheroes.
Right, yes. Yes. That's right. I talked one time about I always wanted Air Jordans, and I always had like the Kmart purple basketball that looked like a meatball shoe. But
Nothing
she loves
wrong with that. Character builder.
She's obsessed, and she's got that hyper focus part where she'll tell you like, "Oh, there's a reboot coming out. It's 26 episodes at 22 minutes, and it's dropping on Netflix." And she knows like the date. Like she's super. That's her trains. That is
Good
her.
for her. Hey man,
It's like, and so it's for me. I love trying to get involved in whatever they like. I used to love cartoons as a kid. I used to watch Looney Tunes nonstop, and I swore I would always watch cartoons. And now I'm kind of like I hate them.
Well, I have to also too. My cousin has 2 kids with autism. They're lovely kids, but you have to be very careful with autism because this is my observation. Tell me if I'm wrong. As a father of a child with autism, they have the propensity of curing cancer or becoming a supervillain, evil villain that with a laser and a mountain. Like you want to encourage direction because the intelligence is far off the charts.
It's like we try to give her a lot of latitude with the things that she does on devices because like she's very good with technology.
She's tracking Russian troop movement.
Right?
Yeah,
it's like even like this morning, like she got up so early and then she's like, but everything's password protected or time protected. For like, and so she's like trying to grab my like thing and she's like putting my laptop on me at 5:15 in the morning. Sign in. Yeah. Yes. And I'm like, it's 6:15 is the limit. Like, and she'll just keep coming in every 15 minutes and asking.
What are you selling, Amway? Get out of my room. I'm sleeping.
She just knows how to push because she knows eventually I'm just going to cave. I didn't because, no, I held tough today. So I lost an entire hour of extra sleep over it. But
Battle of wills.
You do. It's like it is. It's a battle of wills. You got to stand your ground. But then I'm like careful because I'm like, if I fall back asleep and she's awake, I'm listening for like the chain. We had put chains on the door during COVID because she was escaping the house. And so we had it there so that because we weren't sleeping. And I was like, oh my God. And now she's tall enough that she can just bat it away.
Well, I took my cousin's kid, Anthony, to the movies, right? And he's so excited. It was like a Spider-Man superhero movie. And he's talking. And I finally go, hey, Anthony, there's no talking in the movie. And he makes real loud. He goes, I have autism. I go, yeah, I know. But there's no talking in the movies, right? And all of a sudden, there's a pause. He goes, people with autism talk in the movies. I go, I know. Then there's a beat, and he goes, so do black people. I go, whoa! I go, look, Anthony, I can run faster than you. Say whatever you want. I get out. I mean, you're on your own on that one, buddy.
That's what I'm talking about. And that's a lot of, like, those things are, like, a lot of what I talk about in my act, which is like so much because those moments happen so fast and they're so real. Like, you know, like the one time she asked me if she could talk about black people in the middle of a restaurant, and I was like, well, as long as you don't say anything that ever came out of your Uncle Dan's mouth, then yes, you're allowed to talk about black people. But it's like she just wanted to recite like the facts she had learned in school or whatever, but like the way it comes out of her mouth,
it could go either way with that evil genius mentality.
That's right.
That's right.
You do have to be careful. So the no filter of it is intense. So it's like now I've learned to embrace it. But like back when she was, I see why some parents would shelter and not bring out. Like I've talked to relatives or family that I know of kids with autism that felt like they didn't bring their kids out because they were too nervous.
Well, that's how my wife and daughters treat me. Like
they
go to places.
That's right. Yeah, I can't bring this guy anywhere.
Well, we go to Kansas. My older daughter's engaged, right? So she tells me today we have to meet the parents of what's his name. I go, why? He goes, come on, you gotta meet him. I go, all right, well, be careful.
Yeah,
remember what Nietzsche said, when you look into the abyss also looks into you. So I'm just telling you, I gotta be me.
That's right. That's it. Well, and that's why we know when we invite you to parties, we're like, we know what we're getting into.
Yeah.
That's right. I like that. You don't want any false pretense. You want to know this is the product you're getting when you bring Joey Callahan in the house. And I'm glad I brought Joey Callahan
thank you. It's
in
so
the
good to
closet
see
today.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you too.
Frank Studios.
And Frank Studios.
Yeah.
Check us out. Westchester Studios. Check them out.
And Dan. Make sure Dan's your producer.
I will make sure.
Good
Dan.
kid.
Dan's going to be this is Dan's first time, so... For me, anyways, the first time
This is Dan's first time with 2 men, and I think it went well, Dan.
Well, happy Pride. And that's where we're leaving that one.
You be you, Dan. Just don't talk in the movies because of your autism. Oh, yeah, that other thing.
Oh, that's the best way to end this. Well, thank you for jaywalking with me.
Thank
We'll
you
see you
for
guys.
having me.
Share it with your friends. Comment, like, dislike, whatever. Just feed the algorithm and have a great day.
Have a good day, folks.